I want to be talking about hustling and the trend of grinding hard and all that shite. A lot of people are talking about mental health right now on the internet because of it being Mental Health Awareness Month. I have mentioned a lot of things to do with mental health here on my channel. I speak about anxiety quite a lot. My last proper anxiety chat video, I think, was actually a collaboration with BetterHelp, which is an online therapy service where you can literally just get texts and phone calls or video chats or emails from a therapist that you pay only like $35 a week or so for, straight to your phone. So it's so good, especially if you've got social anxiety. A lot of people don't go to therapy because they have social anxiety, which is exactly what this video is going to be too. So I'm going to be talking about them a little bit further on in the video. If I don't know if you guys noticed, but every single video description I have on my channel, I always put their link to online therapy down there because I love just the idea of it, even though it's always available in every single video description ever. So I want to be talking about the idea of hustling and grinding. It's like that typical thing of, if you didn't tweet that you went to the gym, did you actually go to the gym? People feel better about themselves knowing that they are telling other people that they're doing a lot with their lives, and in a way like reassuring themselves that they are getting a lot of work done and a lot of things done with their life. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want anyone watching this to say, oh my god, like I do that quite a bit. I do it. Like when I've done a lot that day, I'm like, I want to tell someone I've done a lot because that's great. But to the point where you can't get any progress done without telling the world that you've done it is insane to me. Like, what happened to actions speak louder than words? Like, if you were with a partner who constantly told you they loved you all the time but you never ever saw any evidence of it, are you going to believe them? Like, these people seem to me that they think that telling people they're doing something amazing is as good as them actually seeing the evidence. Like, I want to see the facts. I want to see what you've done afterwards. It's like having a motivational speaker give all this motivation out there, saying all these really motivational quotes, and then not having anything interesting that they've achieved in their life for you to believe that works. Like, the best motivational speakers are the ones who have the greatest stories and the biggest amount of action behind what they're saying and proof and evidence. And it's like, we don't have that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying here? Like, I don't want to take advice from someone who is a fitness trainer if they don't have that evidence themselves. Not saying you need like a ripped body or you need to lose tons and tons of weight, but I want to see what your grind's been for the past year. I don't want to see that you're taking a picture of a dumbbell and saying, I'm gonna do this, drinking all the coffees possible, having the less amount of sleep, grind, get on with it. It's like, where are your family? Where are your friends? Where don't you have kids? Like, what is this? And I'm not saying I don't believe people for not working hard. I don't say that if I see a tweet, Snapchat from someone saying like, getting loads done today, it's not that I don't believe you. Obviously you're doing great things and well done. It's better than sitting and staring at a wall. But even if these actions are happening and even if this progress is being made, then don't you have a family? Like, don't you have kids? Are these people just going to be sat in their mansion 50 years down the line wondering where their family went, wondering why their wife left them, wondering how their kids are? But it's all right because they did all the grinding they possibly could when they were in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they have loads of money now. I just think, do you understand why I feel like this video might backlash? But I just think most people, when they think of mental health and mental health awareness, it's like, illnesses with the brain. It's anxiety, depression, depersonalization, grieving, stuff like that. You think of like the typical things, but sometimes it's just the very, very small things that can build up to mental breakdowns. I've spoken to people before that 100% believe the fact they are stressed isn't important because they have so much to do and such a big to-do list, all these chores and all these goals, and it baffles me. I get we should work hard, I understand that. In fact, I'm so about that. I see friends of mine that don't really necessarily have many goals, and regardless of what I just said then, hardworking people are inspiring. People that it's about, to me, it's about scheduling your time wisely, working wisely. It's about being committed, persistent, slow and steady wins the race. It's not about burning yourself out and just going nuts and hard on something and then later on wondering why, it's not going well, the creativity isn't there anymore, or it's all being forced and you're not driven anymore because you've just completely tired yourself out. I saw this picture on Instagram the other day completely by accident, and it was so weird how it just hit my feed during a time when I was thinking about this and wondering whether I should make this video without like getting backlash and people hating me for it. But I saw this and I'm gonna give it credit for, I don't even know who made this, but I don't want to say that I made these words up myself, but it says hustle and then there's a big cross through it and it says align. And I saw that and I was like, must read this. Destroy the idea that you have to be constantly working or grinding in order to be successful. Embrace the concept that rest, recovery, and reflection are essential parts of the progress towards a successful and ultimately happy life. And another very similar quote to that is that you can't pour an empty glass, something like that. It basically means you aren't able to express yourself and to pour your heart out into things if you're not full as a person, if you're empty, really. And some of the most successful people out there are hardcore meditators. For example, defining the word hustle, if we look at what the word hustle actually means in the dictionary, it literally says push roughly, they were hissed and hustled as they went in, or obtain illicitly or by forceful action, or a state of great activity, the hustle and bustle of the big cities. Really, the word busy is having too many tasks to do, having to be everywhere at once, having a lot going on, and that word busy has been replaced with the word hustle, which really is like a glitter stamp of approval of saying that getting a million things done and not having any time for yourself and working too many hours and not sleeping and not resting is moving towards something big and something full of sparkle. Now, I've seen it on shirts, I've seen it on jumpers, I've seen it on mugs, notepads, like hustle, good things come to those who hustle hard, grind hard, hustle, like in big glittery writing. It's like cool to be busy. Do we actually need to be forcefully moving in one direction, or is it just going to be cool for like 5 years, a decade? Without sounding a bit, like a dry lunch, what happened to work hard? Do the best you can. Put everything you can into it. This word being like thrown around in people's faces is making people feel guilty and bad for not putting every minute, every second of their day into work. If they're not doing that, then what are they doing anyway? Like, social media is a ridiculously toxic place for your mental health anyway. As much as I love social media like the next person, it's so dangerously easy to compare yourself to other people on social media, to compare and to perceive how much further other people are getting in their life compared to you, and sometimes you're left to feel that you won't ever get that far because you're not hustling hard enough. Knowing what your own pace is and being realistic about it is so much more important to me, especially as a creative person. Like, if I was to put every single hour of my day into what I do online, I would run out of creativity. Like, I would burn out easily, I would run out of ideas, I wouldn't have that really valuable moments within my day where I'm literally just reflecting and waiting to have, that like moment where you've just got a flood of amazing ideas and you feel inspired. To me, being your most productive self is about working hard, sure, but finding the balance with staying in touch with yourself and knowing when you need to give yourself some grace and take care of yourself. I don't want to hustle through my life. I want to put the hard work into the things that I want in my life, but I don't want to be so burnt out when I get there that I can't actually enjoy them when they arrive. And if you're still not convinced, if you still don't really understand where I'm coming from, perhaps you don't understand like the extremities of how far people are willing to go. It's not just, a cool way to say a workaholic. It goes further than a workaholic, because workaholics still, eat, sleep, drink. They just spend all their non-working hours wishing they were working and wanting to work. Hustling is where sleeping as little as possible is celebrated, where working so much that you forget to eat and you choose to skip meals is like acceptable, and the only way you're ever going to reach success is drinking coffee because it gives you buzz and energy and it makes you work harder than you're supposed to be working in the first place. Hashtag grind, hashtag team no sleep, hashtag get it. I'm going to show you some real life adverts out there that demonstrate this perfectly, and maybe you might make you understand my point a bit more. This is an Apple advert for one of their shows called Planet of the Apps. Now, I don't want to bash anyone for their own choices, and it's totally fine. This guy can do whatever he wants in his life, but personally, I would really hate myself to ever feel that way. In fact, the reason I would be making money is so that my children are able to do cool things with me. Now here is an advert for Fiverr. I actually use Fiverr myself. I edit people's videos for them. If you want me to edit a video for you, let me know in my email address. This is an advert for Fiverr, and this is what it says. Let me know what you think of this one. My problem is at the bottom here. It says you might be a doer. I consider myself a doer. I think I get the things done that I want to get done. I reach deadlines on my own. I'm self-employed. I don't have a boss to kick me up the arse when I don't get things done. But according to this advert, because I don't, count on coffee at lunchtime, and because I choose to actually get a good amount of hours to sleep, I might not be a doer. I'm saying that your time and your workflow and decisions that you make are going to be much wiser and going to take you further if you've got a clearer frame of mind. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I know that sometimes all-nighters need to be pulled if a deadline is getting closer, or it's a busy time of the year, or like something's going on and just more hours need to be put in it for that period of time. But if that's something that's happening every single day, then something's not right, and as well as something not being right, it's going to get worse, because no one survives consistently like that. It's like having a crash diet. No one really loses weight and then keeps it off if they are giving up every piece of food that they ever loved. To me, you don't look like a hard worker, you look like a bad worker. And to be honest, if you scheduled your time to your best ability, you may not actually be as busy as you thought. Take care of your own body before it falls apart, and no amount of money, no paycheck, no Fiverr deal, no freelance contract is ever going to be worth your health and your well-being. Working hard is good. Working smart is good. Working to look busy and looking like you're grinding and celebrating not taking care of yourself is not good. I love a motivational speaker like any other person. It's great. It makes me feel motivation, which is the whole point of a motivational speaker. But straight after that comes anxiety. I've got to just hustle, but on what? What's going to get me the results? What if people don't like it? What if nobody finds it? A cool image demonstration of what hustling looks like in a creative perspective is this here. Because what it does is it convinces you that where you are now is not okay. And everywhere in between where you are now and your success is a complete failure. It puts you in a kind of fight or flight mode, and making business decisions when you're anxious is like going grocery shopping when you're hungry. You're just going to come home with a load of junk at the end of the day. Because hustle makes us feel like we should be sprinting all the time. And oh my god, please don't tell me that you've never heard a successful person say that the journey is about being a marathon and not a sprint. Why do you think they say that? A big part of hustling is telling each other that you can have everything if you want it. And honestly, we can't be everything to everyone, and we can't have everything. Nobody can. Hard work is a trait and not an identity, and I think a lot of people overlook that. I really do. But it's a big part of mental health, because it can be so dangerous to not only the person putting it on themselves, but who's expressing it out there on social media that is the way to be and that's the only way you should do it. And it's just toxic in so many ways. Telling people what you're doing with your life at the moment when everyone says, what's your goal in 5 years' time? And it's like, we're giving ourselves this unstable way of seeing life as like a complete mission, and we're not just in the moment. Without sounding very Buddha right now, I would consider myself a hard worker, but that's only because I enjoy what I do. Doing too much of anything is going to make you hate it, and I just feel that if I put so many hours into something because I think that's the only way to be successful, that's eventually going to make me absolutely hate what I do. It's going to remove the creativity. I've said this on my channel before and I'll say it again. Going to see a therapist is like going to the gym. Therapy is a gym for the mind. Like, you don't need to be broken or ill to go and talk about your mental health. The same way that you go to the gym to improve your body, it doesn't necessarily, nothing needs to be wrong with your body. You can just externally improve how you look. And it's the same thing. In fact, to me, more important, like, the brain can change, your mind can change so much about your life. Like, if you have a certain attitude towards your work, like we were talking in this video, it's going to make you work better, it's going to make you grow your business, it's going to make you earn more money, and that's going to impact your family life. And that's coming from someone who's into beauty and has a beauty channel and likes fashion and clothes and makeup. But I also love talking. I love opinions, I love people's mind, I love how they think and work. This video is in collaboration with BetterHelp because they are one of the best people I've ever worked with. I just think what they stand for is great, and I've had so many of you guys tell me that you know of someone who has used BetterHelp before, or you had already used BetterHelp before. As someone who does get very socially anxious, like the thought of going to see a therapist scares me because I can barely even open up to friends. I just feel like I'm a burden to people if I open up my problems to them. I don't want to be, you know, annoying. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And as well as that, when I go and see my friends, I just want to have a good time. Like, I want to get away from what my brain's thinking every other day or every other hour of the day. The idea of this is basically having a therapist in your pocket, to have a professional text, message you, video call you, email you, whatever it is that you prefer, to check how you are, to chat about things, to discuss how things are with you, just to go through your mental well-being and to just catch up on you. Like, some of us aren't actually fortunate enough to have close mates in the first place. So what you do with BetterHelp is to sign up with them. You basically answer a few questions that they ask you, just about how you're feeling in general, why it might be, and things like your age, your gender, who you'd prefer to talk to, what kind of expert you'd prefer to have, like language wise or gender, etc. Because then they know who to pair you with. Like, it will be best if, you know, you get somebody who is an expert in grief and loss, if you're going to tell them in the survey that you've recently lost somebody. Do you know what I'm saying here? As I always do, I'm going to leave a link down there that you can use. Yes, I've worked with a lot of beauty products before, but the mind beats it all. The brain, the internal stuff. I'm going to leave now because I felt like I've spoken for England. I think I've actually been talking out here for an hour, so this is going to be absolute hell to cut down. Do make sure you subscribe to be notified every time I make a brand new video. Click the notification bell as well because YouTube is being a poo. Join me on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram because I put loads of behind the scenes stuff on there. And I will see you for my very next video, see you very soon, guys. Bye.